just seeing everybody smiling and feeling that level of love and acceptance walking down the aisle.
Welcome to the Wedding Celebrant Show with me, Lisa Flant, an independent wedding celebrant living and working in the beautiful county of Cornwall. On the show, I'll be sharing insights, tips and a confession or two, as well as chatting to some amazing wedding professionals along the way. So if you're planning a wedding, or if you're a professional wedding celebrant, or perhaps you're just interested in some behind-the-scenes gossip, then this is the podcast for you. Welcome to episode 8 with me, Lisa Flant, independent owner and lead celebrant of Celebrant in Cornwall. And thank you so much for joining us. Today, I am thrilled to be joined by a wonderful couple, Kate and Juliet, who are former clients of CIC. We were lucky enough to craft and perform their ceremony back in May 2023 at one of our favourite venues, the Rock Pool near Gwithian. And having stayed in touch with us all this time, they said they'd love to come on the podcast and share their experience of choosing an independent wedding celebrant over a registrar. Well, we could hardly say no to that. So let's welcome Kate and Juliet to the show. Yay!
Yay! Hey, Lisa. We've been so excited.
I cannot tell you how lovely it is to have the chance to chat with you both. So thank you for joining us.
Oh, any opportunity to chat about the wedding and just chat to you generally, we're happy.
Okay, well, let us jump straight in, and please, both of you, do introduce yourself to our listeners.
All right, so I'm Juliet, and yes, I am the better half of Kate.
Cheek.
So, yeah, well and truly married. I'm now a driving instructor. Formerly, only just a year ago, I was in the Royal Navy, so 23 years done.
I'm Kate. I've been with Ju for a few years now, and during all the planning we were negotiating her being in the Navy, but on top of that I'm a specialist paramedic, so I also work in primary care, urgent care, so I have quite a lot on my plate even without having to manage Ju.
Thanks, babe.
I know you love each other, really. And I also know you've been together for, it must be 5 years now.
Yeah, we met 5 years ago in lockdown, as soon as they started allowing us out of our houses and to meet up in public places.
We're a Tinder success story.
Oh, I always say, I love a bit of Tinder. It does keep me in business.
You know what? I never believed that it could be true. And then we met on Tinder, and yeah, just coming up to 5.5 years together now. The beauty of it is because we met in, what was it, around May, wasn't it? We got engaged literally within a day or so of meeting, and then married again within a day or so of that date. So our anniversary weekend actually spreads over 3 or 4 days now. It's brilliant.
So you mentioned your proposal. Let's start with that. Tell me about your proposal story.
So, as I was saying just a minute ago, I was in the Navy and I was up country, sort of Shrewsbury, on a 7-month course to be a photographer. 7 months of a lot of commuting at the weekends to come home. And there was a weekend where I just thought, that's too much. It's a long way, sort of 7-hour journey each time. So I decided to stay up there for the weekend. But I'd planned to go to Snowdonia for the weekend, go off in the camper van and just get away, really. And I'd said to Kate, I said, look, I'm obviously not coming home. What are the chances of you getting off work early and coming up? Like, meet me in Snowdonia and let's go and hang out in the van. That was you, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so I went running into my manager's office because it was literally going to be the year of it was our year-long anniversary. And Ju had no idea. I'd always said that I'd never say no to being married, but it would take a lot. It'd take someone really special. And I'd realised a few months before that I really did want to ask Ju to marry me, but had no idea how to approach it. She was away. We were barely seeing each other. So when she said, I'm going to Snowdon, I've got to take some pictures while I'm up there, do some stuff for work. So I absolutely ran into my manager's office and was like, I need to go right now. And she's like, really? Is everything all right? I'm like, yeah, I need to go meet Ju. I'm going to ask her to marry me and she doesn't know. So she was like, okay, go, by all means. So I ran out of work, drove up there. And in my head, I was thinking this is going to be amazing. It's going to be so romantic. It was anything but. It took me 9.5 hours to get to her. And in the meantime, I'd realised I didn't have a ring. I don't know how guys do this. Anybody that proposes, I don't know how they do it. I'd tried a few times to try and figure out Ju's ring size, but couldn't do it. And so I was stood in the kitchen, still in my work uniform, going, how am I going to do this? And in the end, I messed about with a bit of foil. That was a car crash. So I got a piece of sea glass that we'd collected on Godrevy, super glued it to a cable tie, and that was drying in the car as I'm driving up to Wales. 9.5 hours later, I get there. It's just pitch black, pouring with rain. She meets me in this lay-by. I'd lost my will to live at this point. So I'd given up the idea of actually proposing on our anniversary. And the following morning, she wakes me up cooking bacon. We pull back the side door and there's Snowdon. Absolutely beautiful, stunning day. We went up there. She's got a camera with her and we pull over to the side by this waterfall. And I'm saying to her, let's take a picture. Let's do a selfie. She didn't realise, but I'd actually set it to record, hadn't her?
Yeah, she just doesn't do it. It didn't even register though, because I'm the photographer. I'm the one who does all the videography. And for Kate to take a selfie was like, it didn't register. And why it didn't, I have no idea. I just kind of went with it really, didn't I?
So I got her to put out her hands and close her eyes and then presented her with this sea glass ring. And as you said, sort of years down the line, ultimately there's this really sweet moment and I've proposed. Ju went on pause, didn't you?
I did go on pause, yeah. I was like, literally, are you kidding me? And that's taken out the swear word in between, right? And she was going, no.
Yeah, I just kept looking at her thinking, sometime you're going to say yes.
Pause, like literally. And I was just stunned because it just wasn't on my radar.
And so we have this wonderful moment and we're kissing and we're hugging and there's a lot of snot and tears from Ju. And this really sweet old couple in the background are walking past and they've got us two crying in a heap on this rock in front of a waterfall and they're just peering at us like photo bombing a video.
And it was, and we look back at the video and it's funny really, because you just see these people walking behind us, dragging their trekking poles behind them, going up there.
And did you actually remember to say yes?
I did.
Finally.
I actually did.
And also, just sort of time checking this was a year to the day of you meeting, wasn't it?
It was a year after the day. The day I got there, it was a year to the day.
Right. And by a lot of people's standards, that's quite quick, isn't it?
I would have said yes normally, but this is just it. It's like I'd had relationships before that were 10 years and it had never even entered my head. And like I say, I'd never said I'll never get married again, but it would take someone really special.
And I was strictly told I wasn't allowed to ask.
Yeah.
I couldn't even ask her because it just wouldn't have happened. And that was kind of an agreement that we had. And that was fine.
Oh, well, I do love a proposal story. Yours is one that I will always remember. Let's go back. It's May 2021 and you've decided to tie the knot and Ju said yes. How quickly did you start all of the planning for your wedding? And do you remember what you sort of did first and what came next? Tell me about that.
Well, we're talking about Kate now, aren't we? Yeah.
But that's because we knew that Ju was going to be deployed and it was really important to both of us that she be included in at least the real key details, the big hits out of the wedding list. And then after that, she could go away and I would kind of fill in the gaps. But I think it was really important that we got the bare bones of planning done.
Okay.
And so literally the next time we were together and she was home for a weekend, we sat down and started kind of getting the basics sorted.
So what do you consider the basics?
For us, it was what did we want the field to be? What did we want? And location and date.
Yeah, and the date was very important to you, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we didn't want the formal stuff. And I struggle in large crowds and that anyway. I'm actually quite introverted. So we just wanted it just simple and easy.
We thought back over all the weddings that we'd been to or that we'd sort of seen from the sidelines and thought, what did we really like about those? Who did we want there? You know, what are all those things that people say that they've done in their weddings that, you know, you hear these stories about, oh, we were so busy, we never even got to eat. There was not a chance in hell that we were going to go through a wedding and not eat. You know, we wanted time with the people we loved. We didn't want to be worrying about airs and graces and details.
Absolutely. And of course, the rock pool, I'm guessing, was a natural choice for you because I know from your backstory that Gwythian is a very special place to you.
It is, yeah. We wanted that beachy feel. When we thought about it, like I say, we wanted something easy going. We wanted relaxed. We didn't want a formal sit-down meal. We thought about all the things we loved and how we could incorporate that. And the types of personalities that we would like to invite to our wedding, where would they thrive? And everything just kept coming back to our circle is all about the beach and good food and being together and easy going. It's just easy.
And we did go and visit like a couple of kind of barns and kind of fields and things like that. As nice as it was, it just didn't click with us at all because it was always the beach, always.
And, you know, you might remember that was really special for me too because Gwythian's my place.
Yeah.
So I was delighted when you said it was Gwythian, but I'm jumping ahead. Thinking about Jules being away, what were those sort of challenges that you faced when it came to planning? Or was it just, well, we've done those bits. Jules was here. She was on board for that. Now Kate can do the rest. Tell me about that.
It was always going to be a case of that I wasn't going to be around much. You know, I was due to go on deployment. So the fact that we kind of ticked a few boxes about the idea of what we wanted in terms of a wedding, we agreed on most stuff, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
We did agree on most stuff.
What did you disagree on? Tell me that.
The big thing really was once we decided that we wanted the beach so heavily involved, Ju was very much set on a beach wedding. So the whole thing down on the beach. And for me, there was the logistics of we had some elderly folk that may struggle to get down on the beach, the British weather, random folk just wandering in because it's a public area. There's no policing that. And for me, there were just so many variables.
Yeah.
I was really worried about when we looked at companies that would set up chairs down there and take chairs away and so we could have the ceremony down there. So that was the one thing really.
We had to do a little bit of research because some of it was owned by a national trust, wasn't it? And then some of it was owned by like the RSPB.
Yeah. And some by the parish council as well, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
The whole lot. So for me, it's like, I'm not a stickler for the rules at all. And I do. And I go rogue and I like breaking rules. But it was going to be a really important day. And if we just rocked up and just thought, sod it.
There's some guy with a clipboard had come along banging the drum, which was quite, that's quite possible. And you hear of that. It was stress that I just didn't want it. It was an extra worry we didn't need to have. So we found a really nice hybrid, didn't we?
And the tide, of course. The
tide. Yeah, it comes up really high at that time of year. So trying to work out what the tide would be, because we'd planned it 2 years down the line to allow time for us to get the money, figure out Ju's deployment and make sure she was home for it. And even that was still tough by the end of it. Yeah. So, it was there were so many variables. It just seemed safer to plan the ceremony at the rock pool and then we could incorporate going down onto Godrevy at some point during that day. And, everything else, it was all gravy.
So that's the only time I've stuck to the rules.
Yes.
It is.
Well, what I'm dying to hear about is why you decided to book an independent celebrant.
So, again, it was like we didn't want the formalities. I wanted relaxed. For me, I wanted relaxed. I wanted something easy and something really personal. For me, connection was always really important. Yeah. And that was it, wasn't it? It was a connection and it was, I just didn't want that rigid kind of, this is how it's got to be.
It just seemed so impersonal. We'd been to some lovely registrar-led weddings before, and although the venues were lovely and the vows were all said, for us, there wasn't that connection that we had, say, with you. And it was really hard because we didn't want anyone to think that we were putting registrars in a separate category. That wasn't the case. For us, that bond wasn't there. It didn't fit with the ethos of the day that we wanted. And we wanted the flexibility. So the rock pool, I believe, is registrar. You can have a registrar wedding there, or at least I think they were planning to. And so we did look into that. But again, it was the connection with the person doing it. We wanted to build a relationship with that person first and them actually understand what had made us the people that we were and those connections with our family and why it was really important to us that, you know, they just understand us and we not have to break it down and be led. You know, if we wanted a particular piece of music, we wanted that piece of music.
You just saying that makes me remember how special it was meeting you. So, that's a lovely little memory. But tell me a little about the research that you did. I actually remember the email that came in.
Do you?
I do, because I remember where it came from as well. And I remember what you said. But how did you research it? Did you kind of like hit the internet? What did you do to kind of find what your options might be?
Yeah, we went online. I think like most people, we hit that famous search engine and just started looking, didn't we?
Yeah. And you kind of look at people's photos. I know I do. It's like being on Tinder again, isn't it? It's like you look at people's photos and things and you think, and you get an impression, don't you, really? Yeah. And
we reached out, didn't we?
Yeah,
we sent a few emails to people. Yeah. And of course, we looked at reviews. We looked at other people's weddings and, you know,
we went
on different
to wedding
forums.
shows, didn't we? We went to one at, where did we go?
Oh, I can't remember. But we went to a few. Basically, I like the free cake that you got at them. It was a massive perk. You get to go and you get tasters. Why wouldn't you want to go? But yeah, it was the blurb and we came across you and you were just, it was a given. As soon as we found your bio.
Straight away.
Oh, that's so lovely to hear because you never really know whether somebody's looked at one celebrant or 10 celebrants. And hearing that you went to wedding shows, I don't go to wedding shows.
No.
You know, I feel even more lucky now. Yeah. But it's so lovely to hear. So you talked about connection. What were the other important things for you finding the right celebrant for you?
It was somebody that just really got us, like our sense of humour, like, you know, we do go rogue and, you know, we've got that kind of military sense of humour and that kind of...
Yeah, that emergency service black humour that not many people get. And you did, Lisa.
And that's it. And so that was really important. Just somebody who just got us and obviously not feeling judged.
No.
And that we could bounce off. You give as good as you get. I love it.
Oh, there was definitely no judging. And you're so right. So many people say... that phrase, in fact, she just got us. And I love that so much. It's so important to have an authentic wedding ceremony, I think.
Oh, that's good. I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's have a little test of your memories here. Do you remember much about that actual process of working with me towards your ceremony?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I remember when we first reached out to you, so obviously we looked at your bios and we looked at the pictures and it was your smile. It was that incredible smile that you have. There were pictures of you on the beach. So already you were ticking, like you said, it's like that matchmaking thing. Instantly you were ticking those boxes for us. We'd reached out to a couple of people and said, you know what, we really don't know what we don't know. We know what we don't want. And a few people came back and although they were very nice, weren't they really wanted to be led by us. Whereas we knew what we didn't want. And when I spoke to you and we're like, look, we're thinking of something like this and we're worried about this. What do you think? You came back with, whatever you want, we'll make it work. These are the things that we might be able to do. You might want to consider this, gently easing us into, you know, other routes. But everything that we suggested or put forward, it was that could work. We can do this. It was just a real proper go-getting attitude. The enthusiasm was there, wasn't it?
I mean, you hit the nail on the head for me. It's like I didn't know what I didn't know because, you know, I've not done this before. Or I kind of have, but not to this extent. Do you know what I mean? And that was it. It was like, you know, you were coming out with things that I'd never even heard of. And that was the thing. It was like, oh, right, okay, all right, yeah, that's right up my street. Let's go with that.
So we had a chat. We knew we were good for each other. We knew we were on the same page. And then we met for coffee one morning at the Jamaica Inn.
Oh, if you told us they did breakfast, though, I would have had a breakfast. I had bacon envy that whole meeting.
Yeah. Well, maybe not for little old vegan me.
Maybe not.
But we had a lovely few cups of coffee, I remember.
Yeah.
And we had a really good chat. And I felt, at the end of that, I felt exhausted. But I remember feeling that I had a really good sense of you guys and that you'd put your trust in me, which felt really quite special. That kind of does lead on a little to the fact that you had an unseen or a surprise ceremony, which is actually rather unusual. Tell me why you made that decision.
For us, I think we had such a positive experience in every interaction with you. We really just trusted our judgment in that we wouldn't have picked you if you were the wrong person for us. You had absolutely understood and heard us whenever we'd spoken. You had the most amazing sort of outpouring of info and the best personality. And we just thought if anyone was going to do this, apart from anything, I was planning a lot of this with you not around sort of towards the latter half of it.
Yeah.
And so for me, I knew every surprise going, and it was really nice to think there was something that I had no control over and just put absolute complete trust in you.
And that was it. And it was from that first meeting, wasn't it? It's that in that instant, that was it. That was, it was a given, really, because there was that sense of trust and, you got us and that was it. So it was a no-brainer, absolute no-brainer for us at all. We didn't even hesitate. We were like, no.
We were really excited, weren't we?
Yeah.
Really excited to hear it for the first time with everybody else.
I can't tell you how scary it is for a celebrant to do that. I mean, it's lovely. It really is a sign of trust. But it doesn't happen very often because a lot of couples do like to be more in control of their ceremony. And I completely understand that. It's a very big moment. We like you to trust us, but we understand that you do need to see your words sometimes. But I do remember you saying that and just thinking, oh my God, no pressure then.
That says so much about you though, because clearly you trust that you will get a good sense of your clients as well. So, and surely if there was anything you were really unsure of, you'd have met with us again or you'd have got a little bit more info. So again, it says a lot about you as a person.
Oh. Okay, so let us look at some of those beautifully bespoke details about your ceremony. And there really were so many. But could you tell us about some of those that spring to mind, those lovely little details that you remember and love?
You mentioned that you loved our rings. So our rings were by a local jeweller called Juliet and Kate over in Penzance. Absolutely incredible team that they've got there. There's a studio you can go to. Again, for us, it was about the personal touches and those bespoke details. So we didn't want a ring that we could just pick off the shelf. We want something really special to us. And so Justin and the guys encourage you to go out and they sand cast rings. So you collect a jar of sand from wherever is special to you.
There's a story behind that as well.
But it is not a long enough podcast.
Put it this way, I face planted the sand and walked away off the beach with a mouthful of sand.
She did, yeah.
Because I'm competitive.
No, this is news.
And so they sand cast rings. And so your rings, they're incredible. And so we had the same jar of sand. And from that, we had our engagement rings cast and our wedding rings, but at different times. And what you didn't know is I'd arranged with them to keep some back. And they also cast a pair of earrings that I'd arranged as a gift for her on the wedding day with sapphires that matched Ju's engagement ring. And so that was really nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was just that detail with it, the detail of the beach and, and the textures in them. And it was
just incredible.
Yeah.
And then Lisa, suggested hand tying, which we'd never heard about.
Yeah, and I didn't. And I had no idea whatsoever. So when you explained it about the hand tying, it was like, that's right up my street. Anything kind of, I don't know, could you call it spiritual or kind of stuff like that? That's right up my street. So as soon as you said that, I looked at Kate straight away and I was like, yes, we've got to do this, definitely.
But this is where you blew me out of the water by your hand tying cord.
Really?
Because it was just incredible. It's one of the most beautiful hand tying cords I've ever seen. And of course, this is because you made the decision, no, we're not going to buy this over the internet.
Yeah.
Yes, we can get the colours and we can put the charms on. But Kate, with not enough to do, you decided you were going to make this yourself.
Well, I figured hopefully we're only doing this once. And so again, it was if we're going to do it, you sent us to some beautiful websites and there were some stunning ones on there. But for me, it made sense that we make it personal. So Ju is Dutch originally.
Yep.
And so to honour her Dutch heritage, we had ribbon that I kind of braided in the Dutch colours. And then for me, anything crafty. Obviously, we're gay. And so I got some rainbow wool and I sort of French knit a huge cord of that in rainbow wool. And then to join the two together, so me and my crafty gay wool and Ju's Dutch ribbon, we got Cornish tartan and we braided those to actually intertwine the two.
Yeah.
And so it was really nice. But I thought it tied in well. You were away, I think, weren't you? So you didn't get to, you only got pictures. And then obviously throughout you had suggested on some of the ones that we'd seen that there were tokens that reflected your lives and how they come together. So I took that and sort of ran with it and managed to find some tiny little sort of silver charms online. They were really inexpensive, but there was like a tiny stethoscope for me and an anchor for Ju's sort of Navy career. There were the 4 paw prints for our cats, 2 robins, one for my mum, one for Ju's dad. And little backpacks and compasses for all the adventures and things that we'd had together. And so we stitched those on. And I must admit, when you tied that knot, it fell so beautifully. So we've never touched that. It was placed in a box as you tied it, as we took our hands out. And from there, I've mounted it in a box frame and it's kind of stitched onto the backing. So it's exactly as it is. It's never been touched, never been undone.
Wedding. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And we look at it every single day. It's
in
there
front of us
on the
now.
shelf. It's in front of us now, yeah.
Wow. I would love to see a photo of that because that's so special. I got a bit of a tingle then.
Yeah.
But something else that happened during the hand tying, and this was another really special moment, I felt it, and I think you did, was the surprise reading that your mum chose, Juliet.
Yeah, that was really special. Didn't know about it at all.
No.
Nothing.
This was you in the background, Lisa, colluding with her.
Yeah.
I did chat with Mum quite a lot. And just for everyone listening, the reading that we chose that we felt was most appropriate for Juliet and Kate was An Uncommon Love by Tara Cox. But your mum, when she read it, seriously, you could have heard a pin drop. It was incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was, and I remember it. And actually, we watched our wedding video, didn't we? Because we had a videographer, and we watched it over the other day. And like hearing Mum read it, you could hear the emotion in her throat, and I was like, "Oh God, here we go," And I'm like holding back, could feel the golf ball in my throat and everything like that. But yeah, I've listened to that over and over a couple of times, and it still gets me every time. It is such an incredible poem and just resonates, doesn't it? Absolutely resonates.
It was written for you.
Yeah.
It really was.
Absolutely beautiful.
I remember that moment because it was lovely for me as well, because I just took a moment to step back and kind of just watch, which was incredible. You don't often get to do that. No. So
because didn't you give Liz a choice of 2 poems and you secretly hoped, didn't you, that she'd pick this?
I did. We had 2 options. I'd narrowed it down to kind of help things along, and I was so glad she chose the one.
Yeah.
So that was lovely. And of course, that little moment preceded another really emotional moment in the ceremony, which is my favourite part always, but it was particularly my favourite part for you guys, which was the reading of the vows that you both prepared independently as a surprise, and really wonderful vows. Do you remember that part?
Yeah, I do. And I think the bit that I remember out of mine, which got everybody laughing, was my reference to Harley, our cat that we had, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Remember that bit? And because again, it's my sense of humour. I am very playful and everything, and I felt my vows were quite playful, but with that little tinge of seriousness as well. And that just sums me up really. But I also remember desperately emailing you, going help, because I had no clue, and I knew I could just message you. drop off a hat and just say, like, just give me some guidance and reassurance as well that I was on the right track, really. And you were just like, you're fine. Just write what you feel, sort of thing. And I remember all that.
I did the same though, didn't I? Because as soon as you sent it out, Lisa, you'd said maybe, I think you sent us an email saying, look, maybe start off like make promises to one another rather than sort of, very serious vows.
Yeah.
And so I'd started that. And I remember thinking, oh, okay, I can do that. That's easy enough. But I think I probably emailed you back about 6 times going, no, completely rethought them. And you were like, they're really good though. You don't have to keep going over them. But I kept changing them, didn't I? And
yeah, and I think your vows can evolve. And I think it's lovely. Again, I kind of spectate and kind of mediate. Often a lot of mediation isn't needed, but it's kind of nice to be in control a little of something happening in your ceremony. And it was lovely to kind of see the development between both of them. But it's quite a big moment reading those surprise vows to one another, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. So that was the bit where my heart was pounding for sure.
But I was looking forward to it. I was excited, I think. I was excited to read my vows because I like making people laugh, and I like that. And I knew you would laugh and stuff. So I felt quite excited about the vows, really.
Yeah. I always a highlight for me. I love the vows, so I'm glad that you felt the same way. And I've probably preempted some of those lovely little details. But what other details? You had so many lovely details in your ceremony, things around your ceremony, things you were wearing. Kate, tell us a few other little special additions you had.
Obviously, I had a beautiful dress, but for me, I did. I loved the back of it. The back was the bit that I loved. For me, the main detail was the fact that my mum had died during COVID, not long after we met. And so her not being there and Ju's dad not being there, we wanted some tributes for them. So the main one really for my mum was I was really lucky that I had her headband from her wedding. She'd used her wedding dress when I was younger to make me a first Holy Communion dress. And so I'd managed to take a sprig of flowers from that. And we had it stitched onto the strap of my dress. So it was really nice that I had part of my mum's wedding with me, even though she wasn't there.
My suit.
Oh, your suit.
So my suit, I had a bespoke suit made and it took about 6 or 7 trips up to London with my best friend, Lou, which was completely invaluable. The time we spent together driving up there, her bringing a fishing tackle box full of treats. Snackle box it was. Every trip was just that was for me, you couldn't put a price on that because the time we spent together doing that. And inside the jacket I had Mrs. and Mrs. Ritzma stitched into embroidered into the pocket. And then when the vows and everything were done and we had exchanged rings, I just opened my jacket and there it was and showed Kate. And there's this fantastic photograph of Kate, like looking at it.
With my mouth wide open. Most of the pictures are me with my mouth wide open, squealing.
Yeah. So the suit was that again, that was something that I'd always wanted was a bespoke suit. But for me, the journey to get that suit, literally the 6 trips with my best friend was just, priceless, really.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to come back to some of the details around your wedding, those favourite moments later on.
Okay.
But if you had to identify your favourite moment of the ceremony, are you agreed on that? What it is?
So for me, walking down the aisle and seeing everybody sat there, I'd had it, as you can imagine, you'd had it planned so many times in my head. I'd run through it. We had got the layout. We knew how it was going to be. We knew what props were going to be there. But to actually walk out with the music playing and everyone we loved looking so amazing, and you with that grin at the end, my dad in tears walking me down the aisle holding a picture of my mum, and Ju there with the biggest grin. It was that moment. It was knowing that I didn't care what the weather was doing. It was amazing that it was sunny, but in reality, it was just seeing everybody smiling and feeling that level of love and acceptance as we walked down, and knowing that no matter what I'd imagined, it was nowhere near as close as how amazing it was walking down the aisle. Loved it.
Yeah. So for me, I've probably got 2. because I can't narrow it down, and that would be my mum's reading, 100%. But as well, turning around and seeing Kate walking down the aisle with your dad, wasn't it? That was just like, whoa,
wonderful,
mum punching. Yeah.
But then I thought that when I saw you in a suit, because to be fair, we don't get dressed up normally, so.
No.
So, Kate, you did mention some of your guests there. And I guess for some of them, this was the first time that they had attended one of these sort of bespoke ceremonies, a ceremony led by a celebrant. So do you remember their feedback afterwards? Were they surprised, or what did they say?
Everybody just loved it, didn't they? The feedback was just incredible. They all just said how it was so us.
Yeah.
Every single moment of it, everyone had felt part of it. You know, everyone was really comfy to be themselves. And one of our favourite moments, looking back through the video and through any pictures, is Lou, Ju's best mate, who went with her to get the suit. It's like spotting Where's Wally, because she had the biggest clump of tissues and was proper ugly crying throughout the whole thing, like scrubbing them all over her face. And then my dad was crying and everybody else is smiling, and everybody just... Yeah, they cheered, they clapped. They were just themselves. Nobody felt they couldn't express any emotion. It was just so fantastic.
Oh, I do love that about ceremonies, how they're inclusive, but they're also quite participative as well. You know, people don't necessarily feel a spectator. They feel they're part of how it should be.
It was lovely.
Yeah,
and I think for us not having Ian, Ju's dad, with us and my mum, you know, to involve our families to that level and make it feel like there wasn't a gap. We just didn't want to do here's a chair just for them. It needed to feel like it was still there.
Yes.
So to have them involved in that ceremony, and like my niece Evie, she was a flower girl, and we had Lou's daughter Alice, she was as well. And the two of them, you know, again, they got on and they were there. And, you know, Evie was throwing petals out of a crab bucket. She loved it. You know, it was a lot for her to walk down that aisle. She was only little at that point.
I remember it. I remember chatting with her and we talked about where she was going to stand and what she was going to do.
Yeah.
So I felt quite connected to all of your guests as well, which was just lovely.
It was I think that was it. It was that everybody just felt at ease and so relaxed.
Yeah, and they said they felt relaxed, and I think even some people said it was the kind of best wedding that they'd been to, because it was so relaxed and just easy, just really easy.
So the $1 million question, what would you say to other couples weighing up the independent wedding celebrant option?
Do it.
Yeah, do it 100%. I'll just do it 100%. Meet with different celebrants, get that connection, really get that connection, feel the connection. I'm a very feeling person. Yeah, that's me. So make sure they get you, you know, and it, I would say it's okay to meet different ones until you find the one that connects, but definitely, and build that trust and trust in what you, Lisa, can do. 100%.
It's 100%. A deeply personal day, isn't it? Though it's a deeply personal event, and there's no point just going with someone because you don't want to hurt their feelings, or you were the first person that they spoke to. There is absolutely nothing wrong with going out and seeing who's out there and finding the right fit for you. And if a registry ceremony works, absolutely, then go with that. There's no right or wrong. It's whatever works for you and your wedding.
Cool. Okay. And more generally, do you have any other words of wisdom you'd like to give to people listening today?
I'd say don't get hung up on the minutiae of detail. You mentioned earlier that people like an element of control. There was only one thing that I wanted control over with the day, and we're going to come to that in a little while. But certainly I think the general ethos we've covered already. It was to be easy, relaxed and about us, and everything was just to flow. And, you know, it didn't matter if the weather wasn't going to work to plan. We made sure that we had people that would take that worry for us. And I think that's the big thing, is if you have any vendors, and you've had a few on your podcast previously, and the point is you are paying these people money, you are putting all of your trust in them. They are in this business doing it, and you've chosen them for a reason, so trust them. You know, Steve, the master of ceremonies, we didn't worry about a single thing that day. There were things that didn't go as we thought they might. Steve just sorted it. You know, you were there to make sure that, you know, you supported my dad and Liz, and you were there working in the background so hard before the wedding, making sure that everybody was reassured and no one was fretting for no reason. So yeah, I think definitely, although you want an element of control, know the general feel, but don't get het up because nobody else is going to know if that chair should have been 3 feet to the left. Yeah.
No, good advice there. Good advice. Anything you want to add, Ju?
Just let go and just let it be. What will be. And just, let go of the reins a little bit and just trust in what the people around you can do and will do.
Enjoy it. That's the big thing.
There's enough of other stuff going on without you having to worry, as Kate said, with the minutiae of detail.
Thank you so much. That was a wonderful trip down memory lane, and it has made me smile a lot. You've been probably able to see very rosy cheeks. But I should tell you both that your experience has already inspired others, because just earlier this year, a couple booked me for the rock pool, and this was based purely on reading a blog that I wrote about your fabulous story, and they recognised it was exactly what they wanted. So I am very grateful to both of you in so many ways. So thank you.
That's amazing.
That's
nice.
lovely to hear. Yeah.
So I think their ceremony is next June. I'll report back.
Oh, amazing.
Right about this time, we usually ask some quick-fire questions of our guests, and today we're going to focus these around your wedding. So are you up for this?
Absolutely. I don't know if they'll be quick fire. We'll do our best.
Okay.
Let's go for it. Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Tell me, what was the best bit of your day?
So it's a bit of a joint answer. So while Ju was away, as I said, we wanted to do a tribute to my mum and Ju's dad. So my mum, we had a chocolate fountain because she had done a John French moment at a wedding fair once upon a time, and she had a white shirt that was chocolate all down it. So I had a chocolate fountain for her, and we noticed her in lots of little things. With Ian, though, Ian was a Royal Marine bandsman, and so it was really important to Ju that he was represented in some way, but she couldn't really think of the best way to honour him. So while she was away, I put out feelers with Ju's aunt, Sheila, who had his clarinet from when he was in the band, and I reached out to the Royal Marine Band and we arranged for a quartet to play. Surprise, after the ceremony, while everybody had drinks. And so the plan was we'd have the ceremony with you, and we have that fantastic picture with the three of us lined up. It's like a Colgate advert with the biggest, whitest, brightest smiles. And after that, we went down to the beach. We had all our pictures taken, and the band had been hiding in the back room at the rock pool. So the team got them out, they set up, and they had Ian's clarinet and beret in the centre of them. And as we came back, all the guests went in first. And I think your mum was nearly rugby tackled, wasn't she, to keep her quiet?
Yeah.
And we went round the corner and she was going, "Oh, Kate, have you arranged some music?" And we took her around the corner, and there they were.
And there was the band, and yeah, it absolutely floored me. Absolutely floored me to see the Royal Marine Band there, Dad's clarinet in the middle, and I was kind of just mesmerised with it all. And it wasn't until I kind of glanced to the side that all the other guests were crying as well, because they had no clue. Yeah. It was just so emotional, and yeah, it was just incredible, absolutely incredible.
It was funny though, because there's a picture, Ju is there like absolutely breaking down, and I look so proud of myself going, "Look what we've done."
Well, I think you should be quite proud of yourself.
I'll never top it, ever. I'll never top that.
No, I thought that was a beautiful detail, so hats off to you.
Thank you.
In hindsight, what might you have done differently or not at all?
So for me, it would be work harder on my speech, really. That all went a bit pear-shaped. I wish I'd worked a little bit harder on my speech, but it was okay, I think.
Honestly, the letter that was presented to me on the day, and she'd arranged some jewellery for me as well on the wedding day. And this was all independent. We hadn't discussed this. Yeah. So to have that, you had exhausted yourself. Your vows were incredible. The letter was beautiful. The speech, it was gravy. No, you did amazingly. Yeah, it made everyone laugh. It was very you.
Tell me, what was the funniest moment?
The dolls.
I met some friends, and she makes action figures and kind of bespoke action figures. So I got a photograph of Kate in her uniform and a photograph of me in my navy uniform, and I said, can you do something with this? Can you make some action figures with us in our uniform?
Juliet said, don't worry about any figures for the cake, Kate. I'll sort it. So these were to go by the cake.
Oh, right.
So she did make these action figures to go on the cake. I loved them.
They were demonic. Okay, they had beady little eyes, a smooth hump, and they looked like they were going to come alive and kill you in the night. And everybody walked in and went, oh, what a beautiful cake. Oh, what's that? And then you watched them recoil, Lisa. We called them G.I. Jew and Paracat. It was just, they were awful.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so they were there propped up against the buttercream on the side of the cake.
I was so proud of them.
They're in a box.
Yeah.
Locked away.
Right, tell me what didn't go to plan.
I can't remember anything, but the beauty of it is we didn't plan to the nth degree, so we wouldn't know. Like I say, Steve and you just took it in hand.
I need to interview Steve.
Oh, he's incredible.
Yeah.
Honestly, who doesn't want a man with a sword? The makeup artist double booked us.
And the other thing that didn't go to plan was you ending up in hospital 10 days before the wedding.
Oh, yeah. A stray dog got in the house and attacked the cat, and in getting them out, I ended up getting bitten and ended up septic in
I do remember that now.
Yes, don't you remember? There were chairs everywhere because I came out of hospital a few days before the wedding. I couldn't even stand up to have my dress fitted without passing out. The poor seamstress threw me over the back of the sofa, unconscious. So, and I was there with my feet in the air while she's running around trying to find me some water. So you guys had all had to put chairs everywhere, and there was really strict instructions to everyone. You are not to call an ambulance. There are enough emergency professionals in this wedding to get us through. Just put my feet up and we'll carry on, and won't be tied you if you video it.
Oh my gosh, I do remember that. Yeah, I remember thinking, well, at least we're in really good hands here if she does pass out. What surprised you most about your day?
How fast it went.
Yeah.
Everybody says it. We did get to eat. But how fast it went. Every single moment just flew by. It was like military precision. You guys got us where we needed to be for the right time. But yeah, I could have spent a whole day on each aspect.
The weather and everybody's sunburned foreheads.
Yeah, I know. For May, it was so hot, wasn't it?
It was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Now, do you have a favourite wedding guest moment, and why?
An absolute no-brainer for us, this one, and that was our dance teacher, Wendy
Moon.
Wendy
if anyone
Moon.
needs one, big shout out to Wendy. She's incredible.
Yeah, she had never taught a same-sex couple to dance at all. It was a new one on her. And also she'd never been invited to any of the weddings that she taught these couples ever. And we were like...
Which we didn't find out until after.
Oh.
Yeah. So we invited her, didn't we? She taught us to dance over the period of the 2 years, wasn't it? And we invited her to the wedding and we did our dance.
Yeah. I mean, I'd said from the beginning that if we were going to dance, I wanted to dance. And so I rang a few people, and we kept being told that the song that we had picked that was really precious to us, it couldn't be danced by two women. There was no way you could do a first dance to it. And we just wanted someone like you, Lisa, that would go, yes, absolutely.
Why not?
And so Wendy was like, well, if that's your song, why would I change it? Of course, I'll sort out a dance for you. She filmed the video of like steps of our dance broken down so that Ju could practice on ship and I could practice at home. The idea being, I think, that we would come together and both be incredible at it. We were shocking. Okay, Ju had forgotten most of it and I couldn't do it alone. I tried with the cat, it didn't work. And so she kind of rejigged everything with like a couple of weeks to spare at the very end. And that's when we realised that it wouldn't be right to not have her. And so they invited us on and we did a dance, and at the end of it, we just kind of had this great big snotty hug because she was just sobbing by the side going, I'm so proud of you. Ju had done the dip and spun me around, and it was incredible.
It was just it was a really lovely moment for her and for us, really. Yeah, first thing we did, just ran over to her, give her a big hug.
Which is your favourite wedding photo and why do you love it the most?
The one where we've exchanged rings, turned round to our guests, and I've got my hand up in the air, mouth wide open, showing proudly my wedding ring. Kate just laughing.
Yeah, for years there have been moments maybe where Ju's been on ship or we've been in positions where we can't really say I love you or express it really openly. There's just that subtle moment where you just kind of show your hands, that your ring's on show and the back of your hand's visible. We know what that means. And it's a passing, fleeting gesture that nobody else might recognise. And so, yeah, it's just there. Like I say, most of the photos I have my mouth wide open, squealing or laughing. It was great. So, yeah.
That photo, I think it sums up. If you could bottle that feeling of just being married, it is such joy.
Yeah.
And you might have seen me use it a few times in my own promotions.
We're so honoured that you do as well.
Now, what has been your biggest lesson since getting married?
Learning to live together. We only moved in together, what was it, last February? She was still in the Navy. It was only when she came out and came down here that we actually had the house together. So learning. Turns out we're both very good cooks. We can't be in the kitchen together though. That was our first domestic, was over an omelette.
It really was. Really, really was.
Hilarious.
And for me, it's just accepting that I come second best to the cats, really. The boys.
Yeah. Same in our household, Juice.
Yeah.
Same in ours.
Yeah. So it's just navigating our quirks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Initially, navigating our quirks and
communicating's the big one. So I think learning how to navigate that and communicating, it's been really interesting, if nothing else.
Yeah. Right, your last question. Your last question is, what do you love the most about being married?
So for me, it's connection and that sense of belonging. And it's a team game, right? It's a team game, and it's like that knowing that Kate's got my back. Even if she doesn't agree with something, she'll still have my back. Definitely for me, that connection and sense of belonging.
Yeah. It's that sense of safety.
You're absolutely right, Juliet. Connection is everything.
Yeah, 100%.
But like Ju says, you don't have to agree. It's just working through it. I love it though. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Kate and Jules. Thank you so much for your time and for asking me to be your celebrant all those years ago. I know that we've had a little chat about this, and I'm really looking forward to the chance of catching up with you both over coffee soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
We can't thank you enough. It was fantastic having you as our celebrant. And now as a friend, we love it.
Oh, well, until then, take care, both of you, and bye for now.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Coming up next time on the Wedding Celebrant Show, we have our fingers crossed that lovely former team member Sam will be joining us to share some of her most memorable moments of being a celebrant in Cornwall. Until then, bye for now. That wraps it up for this episode. Thanks so much for listening to the Wedding Celebrant Show, brought to you by the team at Celebrant in Cornwall.